Praise be Jesus Christ. I want to share with you today what I believe is the world's second most impressive Eucharistic miracle today. It's the Eucharistic miracle of Buenos Aires, Argentina. It happened in 1996 and was approved by the church. And I'll read to you from the Eucharistic Miracles of the World book, which has a foreword by Cardinal Burke. It says, on August 15th, 1996, during the Mass of the Assumption, a consecrated host which fell to the ground during the distribution of communion had to be placed in a vessel of water so it would be dissolved. And so that's what we do in the Catholic Church. If a consecrated host falls to the ground and becomes a little soiled, we allow the consecrated host to dissolve in water, and then we reverently pour out that water, typically outdoors somewhere on the ground, maybe in a little garden of Our Lady or something. It goes on to say, on August 26, the tabernacle was reopened to get the vessel with the fallen host. And it was observed that it was not dissolved and showed several reddish stains that became larger each day. The priests of the parish immediately went to the Archbishop of Buenos Aires to recount what had happened. And the Archbishop of Buenos Aires was none other than Pope Francis, Archbishop Bergoglio at the time. And so the church does what she likes to do. They took their time, they had the phenomena photographed, and everything was documented. And then eventually they had the phenomena medically, scientifically analyzed in Buenos Aires, and it was found that they found it was tissues of an inflamed heart, which meant that the person to whom it belonged must have suffered greatly. So they determined this in Argentina, and so the doctor who was in charge, Dr. Castañón Gomez, he says, to clarify our doubts, on March 2nd, 2004, we went to see the greatest expert in cardiac pathologies and forensic medicine of the heart, Dr. Frederick Zugibe of New York at Columbia University. So he was known throughout the world as someone who could tell you how someone died by examining the dead person's heart. The professor, however, did not know that the sample I had brought him came from a consecrated host. Dr. Zugibe said to me, the sample you brought me is heart muscle of the myocardium. To be precise, it is the left ventricle. And he confirmed that my patient had suffered greatly. Then I asked him, Doctor, why has my patient suffered greatly? He answered me, because your patient has some thrombi. At certain moments, he could not breathe. Oxygen did not reach him. He labored and suffered much because every breath was painful. Probably they gave him a blow at the level of the chest. Moreover, the heart showed dynamic life activity at the moment you brought me the sample. Why? I asked him. Because we found some intact white blood cells, and white blood cells are transported only by the blood. So if white blood cells are present, it is because at the moment you brought me the sample, it was pulsating. The doctor then asked to whom this sample belonged, and when we told him that it came from a consecrated host, he exclaimed, I do not believe it. He was greatly moved. And then Dr. Castañón goes on to say, the myocardium is the muscle that gives life to the whole heart and body. Rightly, a theologian pointed out to me how the fact that it was really the myocardium was not by chance, but was symbolic. The Lord in this miracle wanted to show us his myocardium, which is the muscle that gives life to the whole heart, just as the Eucharist does with the church. And why the left ventricle? Because from it comes the purified blood, and Jesus is the one who purifies his church from her sins. Dr. Zugibe said to me again, at the moment you brought me this sample, this heart was alive. And did not our Lord Jesus say that I am the living bread come down from heaven? And the bread that I will give for the life of the world is my flesh. Brothers and sisters, Jesus is truly present in the Eucharist. And in the Eucharist, he gives us his living, beating heart so that we can live forever. Viva Christore!